Hello everyone and thanks for streaming with us in Afghan Voice Agency on May 27th. A number of lawmakers in Afghanistan's Uli the lower house of parliament on Wednesday blamed the Afghan government for what they described as systematic corruption and embezzlement of the national assets of the country. They said that a few government officials are behind all the corruption and embezzlement cases. The lawmakers also lashed out at the Ministry of Finance for not disclosing the name of those accused of embezzling $8 million from the customs on a daily basis. Members of parliament also criticized the government for ignoring the decision of the parliament on the issue of caretakers. They said that the government is violating the constitution in terms of appointments, but the presidential palace has rejected the allegations. Pakistan rejects U.S. request for military bases.
The U.S. is fast pulling out its troops from Afghanistan under a peace deal with Afghan Taliban. However, before completing its withdrawal by September 11 this year, Washington is desperately negotiating with regional countries in Central and South Asia to set up military bases to retain its political clout in this part of the world. The U.S. used Pakistan's military bases for years to carry out over 57,000 sorties on Afghanistan, which killed tens of thousands of Afghan civilians. Similarly, as many as 4,000 Pakistani civilians were killed in the bordering region with Afghanistan in U.S. drone attacks, most of which were carried out from the southwestern locations of Pakistan. Not long ago, under public pressure, Pakistan shut down the U.S. military bases. Now the U.S. is once again struggling hard to allow it to have military bases in this part of the world. Prime Minister Imran Khan's ruling party, which won 2018's general elections, partially exploiting anti-American sentiments, has vowed not to allow the U.S. to have military bases again in Pakistan. Earlier, the Foreign Office of Pakistan denied the presence of any U.S. military or air base in Pakistan, stating that any speculation is baseless and irresponsible and should be avoided.
The government of Pakistan has categorically said, we will not allow kinetic use of drones, nor are we interested in the surveillance of your drones. That's a very clear-cut policy of this government.
If nothing works, the Pentagon says it can use its aircraft carriers already stationed in the West Asia and Persian Gulf to carry out any possible airstrike in Afghanistan in future. After shutting down the U.S. military bases in Pakistan years ago, the Pentagon has been using Pakistan's air corridor to support its shrinking military presence in Afghanistan, and Pakistan has yet to clarify on whether or not it would allow the U.S. to retain its airspace facility to carry out any possible airstrike in Afghanistan once it completely withdraws.
The Afghan Ministry of Public Health on Wednesday announced that it has successfully wrapped up the first round of its COVID-19 vaccination campaign as the country prepares for the third peak of the virus. The Health Ministry spokesman says that China will soon send more COVID-19 vaccine to Afghanistan. 700,000 doses of vaccine will arrive from China to Afghanistan. With the arrival of those doses, we will continue with our vaccination campaign, said Dasgir Naziri, a spokesman for the Ministry of Public Health. Meanwhile, doctors at the Afghan Japan hospital have said that the number of COVID-19 patients is increasing and urged the public to follow health guidelines. Syrians cast their ballots in the presidential election.
Syrians rushed to take part in the country's presidential election. Ballot boxes opened at 7 a.m., signaling the beginning of the process, which allows citizens to choose one of the three presidential candidates as the state's next president for the next 7 years.
What you are seeing on TV screens shows Syrians' love to their country, sovereignty and dignity. The West will be ashamed when they see those images. They will realize that all their attempts to mislead Syrians and falsify facts were not fruitful. 125 journalists came from many countries to cover the election. We told them they can cover from any asked them to report professionally.
There is a democratic atmosphere here. No one interferes in the election. Each Syrian votes for the candidate he finds suitable. The process is a battle just like the military ones. The Syrians are proving to the world that they are capable of choosing the president that they want.
Over 12,000 electoral centers were set up. In Syria, more than 18 million people are eligible to vote. Incumbent President Bashar al-Assad and Syria's First Lady Asma al-Assad cast their ballots in Douma, once a terrorist stronghold before the Syrian army liberated it in 2018. Assad said Syrians' rallies in support of the election is a good enough response to the statements made by Western countries that rejected the election process. Iran's ambassador to Syria recommended the West to respect Syrians' decision.
We recommend them to respect the decision, of the people, the Syrian people, and they claim that the democracy, they claim to respect the sovereignty of other countries, and we recommend them to be honest to their claiming.
We came here at the invitation of the Syrian government to observe the election. The election is fair and free. We were amazed by the large number of Syrians coming to vote, which signals the Syrian love to their government.
Syrian expatriates have already voted on the 20th of May across the world. Syrians outside government-controlled territories will not be able to vote, such as in SDF-controlled, terrorist-controlled, and Turkish and US-occupied parts of Syria.
Thank you so much for the privilege of your time.